Local police sometimes will step in and will sometimes actually work with us to help students understand that by handing the vape on to someone else, they've actually supplied a prohibited item at school. Sometimes police won't. It depends on what's happening at any given day and certainly what the gradient is in terms of the offence. What we do though in schools is we work really closely with young people to understand that by on-selling those particular products, they're actually putting their friends at risk. And part of the unknown about vapes, and we say this to students all the time, whilst we have a good, clear understanding of what's in cigarettes now, we don't actually know what's in some of these vapes that are being sold. And they might smell lovely and they might seem very appealing and they might look trendy like a highlighter. And, you know, some of the various ones we've collected are quite pretty to look at. What they actually don't know is what the chemical substances are in them, whether they've been laced with any other kind of drug. They don't know the long-term effects of inducing some of that stuff. And I know that our health experts can certainly speak a bit more about some of that as we go. I would also say to you that policing this particular trend is very difficult, because if we walk past a toilet block and you can very clearly smell a cigarette smoke, you can very clearly see the smoke, it's very easy for us to respond to something that's happening in the toilet space that shouldn't be. The vapes aren't always as black and white. We can't always see the vape rising above the toilet stall. We certainly can sometimes smell the scented flavours that come from them, but in many cases that it is a smell similar to bubble gum and other candy that students would have at school. And sometimes that makes it a little bit tricky. It's against the law to film children in bathrooms. So we don't have surveillance cameras in the actual facility. We certainly in many, many schools have cameras that monitor who goes in and out of those spaces, but we also have child protection concerns around announcing when adults are stepping into bathroom spaces and other things too. So all of those things make it a little bit tricky. I can't, for example, as the principal at my school, I can't just walk into the bathrooms unannounced. I have to stand at the door, shout out, Mrs. Quayle's coming, and have to give them plenty of time to adjust, for want of a better word, before I can actually step into that space. And as a female principal, I can't go into the male toilets at all. And I can understand why that wouldn't be okay. I can, however, task male staff to do that. But of course, we're always operating under child protection legislation. So that certainly monitors where the interactions are at schools. We need to really send a clear message that this is not okay. And we need to send a clear message that our young people may not necessarily feel the effects now, but they certainly will in the next 10, 15, potentially 20 years. So I want to thank you for joining us today. I know that you will have lots of questions for our experts, probably more questions than we can possibly answer in one sitting, but I'm hopeful that this will start a conversation that we will continue to be able to build on as we move into 2022. Thank you for taking the time to check in today. And if there are any questions for me, once I step out to go and host my next event, I'm sure that Smita will make sure that she passes them on. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Brenda.